Brightest Elements Part 1 The Lost Element by Rain at Dawn. Chapter 2 Gently. Ugh, my freaking head, I thought as I began to wake. My head began to clear a bit. I could hear voices I recognized. I don't know why, I don't trust them. Spot. Princess Luna asked us to watch over him until he woke up. You know as well as I do, she would not have brought him here if she thought he was dangerous. Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about this guy that bugs me. Spike, you say that about every new stallion you meet. If I didn't know better, I'll say you're jealous. What? I'm not jealous. I smiled a bit, deciding to dump my friend's sleep. Lips say no, your behavior says yes, I stated while standing. This startled the small dragon, making him jump as high as he was tall. I chuckled a bit before falling flat on my face, causing the purple dragon to go into hysterics. Okay, fine, I deserve that. Laugh it up. What's wrong with my feet? Oh, wait, hooves. Oh yeah. I tried to stand again, more slowly this time, and on 4 feet, not 2. I decided, needless to say, I was more successful. This is going to take some getting used to. Hey, do you have a book that can teach me how to walk or something? I said to Twilight. I decided not to call her by name, as I don't know how much Luna told her. Twilight blinked before walking to the bookshelves. Yeah, one moment. As she made her way through the different tomes, she added, I guess it must be a big change for you, going from 2 feet to 4 hooves. Okay, good. It seems that Luna had at least told her what I used to be. Saved me a lot of explaining. Spike continued to stare me down, but Dwight noticed this and saved me from the awkwardness. Spike, could you please go and prepare us some tea? The baby dragon huffed a bit, but compelled as he walked to the kitchen. I looked at Twilight and mouthed a thank you when he left. What's his problem? I asked. Spike was out of earshot. I'm not really sure. Just give him some time, though. Being the only male around here that knows all my friends, he gets a little protective. Twilight announced, making sure that Spike heard. I raised my eyebrow and asked, well, I don't look dangerous or anything, do I? The mirror is over here in the washroom. See for yourself, she said. I walked carefully as I could to where she gestured, counted a 1, 2, 3, 4 rhythm in my head in an attempt to avoid falling again. Slowly but surely, I made it to the small room in the hallway. I looked at myself in the mirror for the first time. In the mirror, it was a little taken back at what I saw. My fur was a silver color and very shiny, almost like metal. My mane was dark white with streaks of silver running down either side, with a tail to match. My eyes looked roughly the same, although my pupils were much larger than before. What really surprised me that I had a horn on my head. Sweet, I'm a unicorn. Something was a bit off though. Why was I so big? I was about the same height as Luna was, I think, but I towered over Twilight and Spike. I don't remember anyone except Big Mac being so tall. Oh well, I was a different species at one point. I guess it must be it. I guess. So what do you think? Twilight said from behind me. She startled me. I jumped into the air, something lashing out and hitting the walls on either side of me. What? There was no way. I looked on either side of me, and sure enough, there was a massive wing on each side, the color matching my coat, with a white streak occurring the the tips along the outer edge. You're an alicorn? Twilight said, taking the words out of my mouth. I turned around in her confusion and said, I'm surprised. But didn't you see my wings before? I was just kind of lying on the ground for a good, for God, Celeste knows for how long before waking up. Celeste, she looked, and she shook her head. I don't remember seeing any rings. Can you fold your wings up against your body? Not being sure what to do, I tried to feel for new muscles that shouldn't be to, and luckily they were easy to feel in my back. I contracted them with some effort, and the wings lay down at my sides and then disappeared. Whoa, what the hell happened to my wings? Such a gale. I can't mess it up. Twilight glared at me. Let me guess, language? She nodded. I sighed and lowered my head. Sorry, Twilight Sparkle. Don't worry about it, she says with a smile. I know you can't come from a different world. It's safe to assume that the way of speaking there compared to here is different. Just try to keep these things under control, please. Ponies, don't use strong words like that. Ponies don't use strong words like that very often, if at all. Also, can you please call me Twilight? When you say my full name, I start looking around for my dad, thinking I'm in trouble. I chuckle at this a bit, and surprised that she would seem to have a sense of humor. Guess the TV show didn't show everything. She pondered for a moment, then seemed to have an epiphany. I think I know why your wings disappear when you fold them up. It seems Princess Luna has put an enchantment on them to disappear whenever they're folded up. My guess is being easier to explain a big unicorn than an alicorn being in Ponyville. Ponies like the princesses aren't exactly common. Makes sense all the same. I was so excited that Luna decided to make me the same type of pony as she and her sister were. She must really trust me to do that. I feel a bit flattered at this, and thought of how nice she was. She was free too. What? Where that came from? Poof! Suddenly my wings were stretched out wide and quivering a bit. I had read enough fanfics to know what this was. Great. It's like middle school all over again. I looked over and found Twilight blushing. She seems to know what it was too. Great. She probably thinks I'm a pub now. Smooth move, dude. Twilight just giggled a bit. You need to flap them a bit to loosen the muscles up. Then it will stop. I look at her in confusion for a moment. Twilight, I'm not sure how to do that. New body, remember? She nodded and smiled softly. Feel around for the strongest muscles in your back. Those will be your flight muscles. Rainbow Dash can teach you more about how to use them. For now, just find the muscles, try to move them. You probably can't fly yet without some practice, but you'll be able to move them enough to get your little problem under control. I sighed in annoyance, but did what I was told. I found the muscles out she was talking about after a few minutes of feeling and worked them a bit. Luckily, it worked, and my wings were relaxed again. Now I don't feel like a complete jackass. I looked up at the violet unicorn and smiled. Thanks, Twi, you're a lifesaver. She smiled and nodded and went back to her books. Spike entered the room a second later with the tea that I had completely forgotten about. I took it gratefully from Spike with a thank you. Tried my best to befriend the little guy. He rolled his eyes, but nodded and brought Twilight her tea. Hey Spike, guess what? I said with a smile. He turns towards me in time to see me stretch my wings to their full length. His jaw dropped and he started stuttering. Good. I I nodded. He just stood there dumbstruck. Yeah, I have the lovely Princess Luna to thank for this, I responded with a grin. The dragon starts shaking his head and replies, wait. Let me get this straight. Princess Luna comes to you, a complete stranger and alien, and asks you if you want to come to our world. Not only that, she makes you one of the most powerful beings to ever live. Has he completely lost it? I grinned while looking behind Spike at the figure who just had walked into the door. Maybe you should ask her yourself, Spike. I then nodded towards the door behind him. Spike winces as if he'd been physically struck on the back of the head. He slowly turns to face Luna, who looks at him with a face of mock fury. He trembles in fear before dashing past me and hiding underneath Twilight's reading table. Twilight finally broke out her trance-like state while reading glares at the small dragon. Spike, what's the matter with you? She stops and looks at the door. She smiles warmly at the welcome guest. Hello, Luna. I'm so glad you're back. She then points at me. I know he missed you. He missed you a lot. Oh, I'm so going to get you back for this. Luna's face instantly changed to one of happiness as she gazed at me, seemingly pleased with my appearance. Well, that turned out much better than I would have hoped. It appears you had adjusted decently to your new body. Luna seemed to be deep in thought, so I decided to get her attention while quite possibly the dumbest way possible. I started singing I'm too sexy while standing on my hind legs while running my hooves over myself in a silly manner. She stares at me for a second before blushing profusely and poof! Your wings are now completely stiff. Ha ha! I win! I shouted. Twilight fell out of her chair, laughing, and Spike, no longer scared, joined her. Luna was mortified, her face coloring even darker shade of reddish blue. She stammered out, "Silence! That's not funny!" I got upright in front of her face and whispered, oh yes it is." She blushed even harder. I didn't know that was possible, but she did. And then I noticed she was on the verge of tears, and the hazing apparently getting to her. Oh no, I didn't want this to happen. I forgot how sensitive she can be. I walked up next to her and gently placed a foreleg around her in a gentle half hug. She tensed a bit, but then sighed and leaned into it, her wings starting to relax. I looked at Twilight and Spike, who were catching their breath from laughing. Alright, you two, that's enough. We had our fun. I then turned to Luna. Don't worry, Luna, the same thing happened to me not 30 minutes ago. Twilight laughed at me as well. So it's all in good fun. Luna relaxed a bit at this, then started to giggle. Aw, I missed your first wing stiff. I feel I missed out a party. I decided to push a little at this point and whisper into her ear. Care to guess who it was that made it happen? She acted offended, switching to her old archaic style of speaking, which I could tell she was being playful. Thou art filthy-minded, young one. Thou art to wash thy mouth with soap. You make me feel like a little kid when you talk like that. I feel like I'm talking to my mom or something. Mine's all the thees and thous, I replied with a sigh. The little alcorn smiled at me, which instantly lifted my mood. God, I loved that smile. Come now, it was a jest. Surely, you do not think I was serious. I shook my head. My family is one of the most joking, sarcastic bunch you ever meet. Trust me, I can take a joke just fine. You better be ready for any time to get a joke or prank played on you, though. I then frowned in realization and asked, "Speaking of my family, where are they? I thought they were coming with us." Luna simply nodded, and yes, they have come with you. As a matter of fact, they are upstairs sleeping at the moment. I glanced up at the clock. Wow, 2 o'clock. 2 p.m. It must be nice to sleep in that long. Luna giggled a bit before motioning up the stairwell. "Well, we like to go and see them. We like to go to see them." I contemplated exactly how I was going to do this. Through my force was the same, talking out of corn with their brothers/sons' force was not going to go smooth. I had an idea suddenly and prayed to Celeste it will work. "Alright, here's what we're going to do. Twilight," I asked. I started, and the unicorn looked at me. "I need to barricade the windows in that room. If you have magic that can make it strong enough to where it can't be broken out of, do that. Second, we need to lock the door to the room magically so it can't be opened until we're ready. I have an idea on how to do this, but you have to trust me. Above all else, do not say anything or unless I ask you to. They're really going to freak out a bit. They're already going to freak out a bit. I like to keep the freaking to a minimum." Twilight cast a spell on the window, effectively making it indestructible, and Luna locked the door. Hope this worked. I then took a deep breath and knocked on the door loudly. Knock on the door to the room. No response. I banged on the door louder. This time I heard stirring from within the room, along with some confused responses. My mom's voice sounded a little nervous, but luckily she seemed to be holding. Sigh. "Here goes." "Mom," I called out. "Drew, where are you? Where are we?" "You're safe, I promise. I need to listen to me now. Drew, why is the door locked? Open this door and let us out." "I will in a minute, Mom. I need to trust me, please." Alright. What's going on?" I'm trying to get to that. "I'm going to warn you ahead of time. The next few hours are going to be hard. And all you are going to freak out and or have a mental breakdown. Just bear with me, though. I'm here for you guys, I promise." I don't understand. What's going on? I don't recognize this room. Are we even in our house?" I really don't know how else to say this, but I'm going to say it. We're not on Earth anymore, and I'm not even sure we're in the same universe. What are you talking about? If you're trying to keep us from freaking out, this isn't helping. I looked at Luna and nodded. "Mom, I'm coming in now. I'm going to warn you ahead of time. I look really different, but I'm still me. Please just trust me. No one is going to hurt you, I promise." Luna undid the lock, and the door clicked and swung open slightly. I noticed the door open and stepped in. My mother and sister stared at me wide-eyed and shocked. My brother stood in front of them in a fighting stance. I stopped about 5 feet away from them and sat down, lowering my head a bit. My mom then shouted out the doorway, "Andrew, I thought you were coming in. Why did you send this unicorn?" She stammered and realized what I was, or at least half what I was. I simply looked at my brother sadly. He stared at me for a moment before making eye contact with my eyes, and then back off, leaning against the wall behind him. My mother stared at him, so did my sister, with confused and worried expressions on their faces. I looked at my brother. He crossed his arms and nodded. Moment of truth, I sighed. Then I looked at the two human females with a warm expression I could manage. "Hi, Mom." My mother's jaw would have dropped on the ground if it had not been attached to her head. My sister had a similar expression, although I could tell she was more curious than scared. Mother stood rigid for a good 10 minutes before speaking. "My God, what has happened to you?" I sighed. As bad as it sounds, thankfully she accepts this is me. This was actually going smoother than I thought it would. I raised my head to look at her and shrugged. "I've been changed to suit this world. Take a look out the window over there," I said. I then pointed towards the closed window. All three humans slowly walked to the window, not taking their eyes off of me until they got there. When they looked, their eyes got even wider. All I could think was, man, they're gonna really need some fencing after this. The adult woman then looked back at me, and back out the window, then back at me. "Where are we, Andrew?" "Equestria," my brother stated. The two human females looked at him with eyes pleading for an answer. It's a fictional world created as a TV show in our world, our old world, because all the posts that bronies make on the different sites I visit, I am more familiar with it than I like to be. Still, there's no mistake about it. We're in Equestria. The show is called My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. The other two stared at him like he was crazy. I sighed, turned my head before calling for Luna and Twilight to enter. Luckily, my family didn't seem as surprised to see the unicorn and alicorn entering, seeing how mean had been majority of the shop. That being the case, I introduced them. "Mom, Janine, Mason, this is Twilight Sparkle, local librarian and personal student to the Cold Monarch, Princess Celestia." Twilight stepped forward and bowed her head slightly. "It's a pleasure to meet you all." "And this," I gestured to Luna, "is Princess Luna, Cold Monarch of Equestria, goddess and ruler of the night, moon, and stars." Luna stepped forward slowly before surprising me and bowing to my family. "How do you do? I am Princess Luna, but no formality needed. You may simply refer to me as Luna. I understand you all have a great many questions for us all. We will answer them all in due time, I promise. For now, we need to find you all something to eat. Then you must rest. We speak again in the morning." Luna and Twilight left the room, leaving me with my family. They all stared at me, taking everything in. My sister was first to speak. "So, what's like being a unicorn with wings?" I stretched the wings a bit as I chuckled. Thankfully, her curiosity overrules her fear. "Well, it's pretty cool actually. The correct term is alicorn, though. I can use magic once I'm trained in it, and I can fly once I learn how as well. Walking was a challenge. I fell flat on my face on my first try. My family laughed at this. Laughing. Laughter always a good sign. I really never you for a brony, man," my brother said with a smirk. "Meh, I can't really consider myself a brony. I'm not all obsessive over the thing. I do have to admit, though, this world is a lot better than ours. So I'm not ashamed to say I'm glad that my guilty pleasure actually went somewhere." My mother was silent for a while. Then she finally spoke. Her voice was so low it was almost a whisper. "So why are we here?" I knew this was coming. There would be no easy way to break this. I know I made the right choice in bringing them all here. Here we all can have a life much better than in our world. However, my self-guilt of making such a large decision on something that affects all four of us made me start to doubt myself. "No, don't think like that. You made the right decision. You know this. Don't fall apart. You got this." I sighed softly before explaining everything, my first meeting with Luna in detail, as well my decision to turn her offer down on account of my family and my devotion to them. Then I finished my little story. They all just stared at me. Surprisingly, my mother spoke first after glancing out the window around the room again. So you were ready to give all this up for us? I shook my head. I can't give up what I never had. I was ready to turn it down without a second thought. My exact words to Luna were, "My family comes first," and that because I couldn't go, she then told me she intended on bringing us all. I took a serious demeanor as I leveled my gaze with the three humans. We can have a much better life here than we've been available to us on Earth. We deserve this. We've been through enough of the hard stuff. Time for a reward. My mother nodded her head agreeing. Thank God for that. There's a catch though. At the words, they looked at me again. I don't want any of y'all to go back to Earth. I want you here with me as a second chance and actual happiness. They all nodded. However, in order to stay here, you have to give up your human body. That's why I look like this now. I already decided to stay. Now I want you to stay with me, but as I said, you no longer be human. And or Princess Celestia will help you get a new form. I know it's a big decision, so don't make it right now. Take a day or two to think about it. I mean, really think about it. They all nodded, and I stood and walked towards the door. I stopped in the doorway and turned back to face them before exiting through. I love you all so much. You guys mean everything to me. I want us to be happy and together. I arrived downstairs to see Twilight and Luna in spite of all their talking at the reading table. Soon they saw me, they fell silent. Luna slowly walked up to me, gazing at me for a moment before throwing her forelegs around my neck, embracing me in a hug. I was a little surprised at first, but then I stood up on my hind legs and returned the hug. Thank you, Luna. Thank you for all of this. I will thank Celeste myself when I get the chance, but for now, thank you so much, Luna. Without thinking, I kissed her softly on the cheek. She looked at me with a huge blush on her face, and then nudged into my neck. Phew, that could have been bad. Damn it, Drew, you need to start thinking before doing shit. After a minute or so more, Luna released the embrace, and I walked over to Twilight and bowed before her. She looked at me quizzically. Thank you so much, Twilight, for taking my family into your home. I know Luna asked you to, but still, thank you. You have my gratitude, and you'll have my friendship. If you will, you have my friendship. Twilight smiled before getting up on the table and also embracing me. I hugged her back and nuzzled her mane, to which she giggled, and I broke away and mouthed one last thank you before turning away. Damn, today was intense. And that was the second chapter. Thank you for reading with me.